Hello, welcome back to the Snickerdoodle Nuts YouTube channel. I'm so excited to tell you all about this brand new pattern that is coming out for the holiday season. So this is the Totally Spaced It Super Bulky Cowl. Perfect. I totally designed it for last minute gift knitting specifically. Of course, it doesn't have to be for gift knitting. You can definitely make one for yourself. But it's made with super bulky yarn and it is a simple repeat that's super easy to remember and memorize. So it's great. Quick knitting for the holidays, for gift knitting for somebody else. So we'll talk about the inspiration behind the design. We'll talk about yarns. We will talk about what's actually in the pattern. All of the things in this video, and down below in the description I'll link all of the things like where you can buy the pattern and where you can find the yarns that I'm going to talk about, and where you can find alternate yarn recommendations that I've put together. So alrighty, let's hop into it. And first, let's see, is this straight? I feel like that's a little better. Is that better? Is this crooked? Okay, anyway, Totally Spaced It Cowl. First of all, let's talk about features, and let's pretend like I wove in my ends. So you can see on here, I have an I-cord cast on and I have an I-cord bind off. That is not required for the pattern. In the pattern, I have included 3 different cast on, 3 different bind off recommendations, and I've put them in based on skill level. But obviously, if you have the skills for a more advanced one and you don't want to make the more advanced one, you don't have to make the more advanced one. You can do the simpler one if you want. I know especially I-cord bind off or I-cord cast on and bind off can take a bit longer. So yeah, that's just one thing to note. And it includes 3 different sizes: small, medium, and large adult. This is the small size. That's because I just wasn't sure if we really wanted something smaller, like circumference wise, with all this bulk here, was super bulky. However, one of my test knitters, at least one of my test knitters, made like a smaller one on accident. Like they were using smaller yarn and smaller gauge and all of that. And she really liked it. So it made me realize that some people do like things closer to their neck. I've always been the kind of person who does not. Like I need some space. I start feeling really claustrophobic really easily with clothes, with stuff in my house, that kind of stuff. So that coupled with, like you could make this for smaller humans, like kids. I am considering adding in a child size. So let me know in the comments if that's something that you're interested. I can totally do that. I really just need to do the math and send it to my tech editor to check it. And I feel pretty confident about that. So anyway, this is, like I said, the small size. So then each size after that is a little bit wider and a little bit taller. But of course, you can always adjust how you want. So if you choose the circumference that you want and then just knit to the height that you want, that totally works too. So yeah, I think that's kind of the options included in the pattern. It's a really super simple pattern. Like it's literally 1 page of instructions and then 1 page that has, all the tools and materials and abbreviations, and then 1 page that has like description of what the pattern is and all that stuff, and then 1 page that has the image. But it's really only one page that is instructions. So that is how simple it is. It really is a simple knit. 2-row repeat. This is called garter inside out rib or garter rib inside out. I can't remember which one, but anyway, it's sort of like a ribbing. And I like the texture a lot. And as you can see, it's really beautiful with like a variegated yarn. So this is actually yarn that I had left over from my Cozy in the Mountains mittens and chose to work it up for this. But it's amazing in a solid, it's amazing in a tonal, it's amazing in a variegated. It works so well because it's such a simple texture. So you can check out the test knitters images as well to see and get an idea of other projects. Yeah, so like I said, it's simple, really. It's working in the round. As long as you can work in the round and you can knit and purl, you can make this. And then let's see what other features. Oh, it's only written instructions. Usually I do charted and written instructions for my patterns, but this is like so simple that it seems silly to do charted instructions. In the past I've done, like I did when I first started doing charted instructions, added them to all my patterns. I went ahead and added it to like the super simple ones, and now going back I'm like, okay, that was really silly, like that's not really necessary, so I just did the written instructions for this. And then there are linked tutorials. So like if you're like, I don't know how to knit, I don't know how to purl, I don't know this cast on, or like, you know, the I-cord cast on, the I-cord bind off, like that's new to me. Tutorials are linked in there. I got you. Yeah, and then we've got our other yarn recommendations. I think that's pretty much, oh, I did want like how quick it is. I can't remember how quickly I knit mine, but like the test knit, I was feeling bad because like, you know, test knitters usually, like there's this big conversation around making sure test knitters have enough time, right? And I always try to be very generous in that aspect. And I kind of procrastinated on getting the design out there ready for test knitting, and so they only had like 2.5, 3 weeks to test knit. And then it was like in the first 24 hours of me posting the pattern, there were already 2 people who had finished, and then like within the next 12 hours somebody else had finished. So definitely totally doable to do in a day if you have, you know, a few hours to do your knitting. So it really is a great last minute gift knit, and that's even including, you know, if you do the I-cord cast on and the bind off, and that's going to be, you know, one of the more time intensive parts of it. So yeah, several test knitters made multiple samples. They gave them to people that people loved. So yeah, super great winter gift, super cozy. Just showing the texture here. So squishy, so lovely. Okay, so let's talk about other yarns. All of my patterns, I have a blog post linked in the pattern that links you to other yarn recommendations, suggestions, tells you what kind of color palettes would look great with it. This, like I said, really like any colors are going to be great. Some people did do, like they used multiple colorways, so like they did like one strip, you know, the first third was one color, second third was another color, third was a third color. So if you want to do something like that, you can. There are several people who use like more variegated yarn, several people who used like a solid, even like a white kind of off-white color. Yeah, I mean, like it's so adaptable to like the personality that you're knitting for. So if it's somebody who loves bright colors, if it's somebody who loves bold colors, if it's somebody who likes muted colors, you can totally choose the right yarn for them, and it will like fit so many personalities. And then on the blog post, I also have other brands. So this is Leo and Roxy super bulky yarn. And it does kind of feel more like a roving sort of, in like it's very loosely plied, which was new to me when I first got that yarn a few years ago. I was used to like working with like Lion brand Wool Ease Thick and Quick, and so that's like very plied even though it's a super bulky. So that's just one thing to note when you do purchase that yarn. And the other yarns I'm going to show you are somewhat similar. I think they're plied a little bit more tightly, but yeah. Anyway, so I just recently got some yarn because I want to knit some hats and mittens for myself and my little one, who I call Minnie. If you ever hear about Minnie on the internet, that's my little one. And so anyway, I just recently got these yarns, so I have to have them on hand that I can show you, and I use them in my yarn recommendations because I absolutely would recommend them. So I'll start with my I was gonna start with my top recommendation, but I'll leave that to the end. So I'm trying to think, what one is this is probably at the bottom of my list. So I have 3 here to show you. Now, like I mentioned, as far as like having things close to my neck, I'm kind of sensitive to that kind of stuff. That also means that it doesn't have to mean that, but I do also have a bit of sensitivity to like things, like I really, really, really want things that feel really soft and smooth. And so yarns that feel like even just have a little bit of like that rustic earthiness to it, I struggle with. I know so many people love it, and so I'm not bashing it at all, but I also always want to be very clear when I share my reviews how I truly feel about it, because there are so many people that say, oh, this is such a soft, amazing yarn, and then I feel it and I'm like, oh, it feels a little bit scratchy. I don't know, like I know when I like wear it for a while it's okay, but it's just not what I actually want to grab. It's not what I like. Yeah, anyway, so oops, that was my top one that I would show you. So I think this one out of the 3 is my least favorite, because of the scratchiness level. It really is very soft. Like you run your hand over it and it really is quite soft, but it does have a little bit of, I don't know, texture to it, I guess. And it has a little bit more fuzz to it than the others. So I think it has to do with the hair length, maybe, I don't know. It's so this is Knit Fluff of the Andes, which this probably is showing backwards, so I apologize, but the colorway is Calypso Heather, and it's 100% Highland wool. So I know Highland wool tends to, for me, I tend to find it a little bit scratchier. Like I said, like I don't mind rubbing it against, like I feel okay, there's a little bit of scratch. It's not, most people will probably call it still quite a soft yarn. I know, like when I talk to yarn companies and they're like, oh yeah, it's a super soft yarn. So a lot of people would still say it's very soft. It's not what most people would call rustic. But obviously, I mean, like I'm gonna be happy to make it. I think that I'm going to use it more so for something on my head, so that's not touching my skin as much. I don't know if I personally would make it for something on my neck, especially since my neck is already so sensitive. I probably would wear it on my hands for a minute, so yeah, it's more so like my arms, my neck, chest area that I guess tends to be most sensitive. So that's my thoughts. I still love the yarn. I still definitely recommend it, but it is at the bottom of this list simply because of that. This one I feel feels very similar. So this is Universal Yarn Posh Alpaca, and I think they are discontinuing this yarn because it's been on clearance. So it's 50% off if you want to buy it. I bought it in 4 different colors, and I'm planning on making my With Love from the North mitten, so it's like a colorwork mitten on it with it. So I have, yeah, like I said, the 4 different colors. Anyway, I feel like it's very, very similar. I keep having a hard time figuring out which one feels more quote unquote scratchy. I think this one's a little bit softer, and I'm guessing it's because of the alpaca knit. So this has acrylic and wool and alpaca. 45% wool, 45% wool, 30% acrylic, and 25% superfine alpaca. So it has that softness of the alpaca. But I don't know if it's the wool or the acrylic. There's something in there that just is a little bit, I don't know, when I brush it on my cheek, it doesn't feel, I think it doesn't feel, well, I guess now both of them I don't know. They're really similar, honestly, to me in terms of texture. I think this one's a little bit more fuzzy, like it has a little bit more fuzz coming off of it than the Posh Alpaca, but still, basically same analysis. All right, so then the third one, my favorite one that I have right now, it also is the loosest plied though. Like the Posh Alpaca has the most twist to it. This one has the least twist to it, which I'm not really sure how I feel about it because of the fuzz factor. Anyway, like I kind of knit this one up a little bit tighter because of that, to make sure that it like had a little bit more structure to it, I guess. Anyway, So that's my thoughts. This is Knit Picks a la Lana, and this is 100% merino wool, and it is so soft. It is seriously so soft. I would knit it for anything as long as I felt like it was durable enough with the loosely plied. Yeah, I don't know. Am I the only one who's sometimes feels worried when things aren't plied very tightly? Like it gives it more fluff. It gives it more whatever, more squish. It gives it more, takes up more space. But I just feel like it creates more pilling or more just like extra fuzziness that, I don't know. Is that a legit concern? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so like I said, this is 100% merino wool. This color is gray. I don't think I said what color this one was. The Posh Alpaca is hemlock, so it's a green. So this is my top rec, but also I've used, like I mentioned earlier, Lion Brand Woolies Thick and Quick a lot. I would 100% use it for this too. These 3 yarns all only have like these tonal solid colors. They don't have any variegated, so if you're looking for something more colorful, something more like multiple colors, multicolored, something more like the Lion Brand Woolies Thick and Quick will have more, they have more of those variegated color combos. So yeah, I think that's everything. This is the totally, oh, I didn't share the inspiration behind the Totally Spaced It name. So if you've been here for a while, you maybe remember that like 3 years ago, I released the last minute invite cowl, and the idea was like, it was a last minute gift knit cowl, you know, for when you need a last minute gift. But the name was like, oh, I need to do a last minute gift because I got a last minute invite to something. And so that is how that got its name. I've had several different cowls that I want to make part of this collection. And it's just taking me longer now that I have a kiddo to get things done. Anyway, so this is part of that same collection of last minute gift knitting cowls. And Totally Spaced It is inspired by like, oh my goodness, I totally spaced it that I need to make this gift for somebody. So you totally spaced it, you need a quick gift knit, this is for you. So whether you need a last minute holiday gift knit because you totally spaced it, you've got a last minute invite, or you've been procrastinating, it's a great fun knit, super kind of potato chip style, you know, like where you just want to keep doing more and more, or easy for working on when you're sitting and talking to other people or watching something, if you're somebody who can do that. You know, I don't want to be dismissive of folks who maybe aren't comfortable like only half looking at their knitting. So but yeah, it's great, not biased at all. But you can find all the links in the description for purchasing the cowl, checking out the yarns, all the things. All right, I hope you love it so much. It's so cozy, so warm. And again, let me know if you want to see an extra small or like a child size in the pattern. If you buy the pattern, you'll get the update. So yeah, if I add something else to it. But I'm happy to do that if there's interest. Alrighty, toodaloo, I'll talk to you later.